I'm good.
Okay. All right. Well, what's going on, my brother, man? Thank you for joining us tonight here on Tour Talk. Just an honor to have you. Eh,
Man, it's an honor to be here, man. Get to
yeah,
talk live with my boy Montreal, my day one from the APGA.
hey, man, yeah, that's what's up, baby. Tell them the truth now. Tell them the truth. Day one. That's right. Day one, baby. Day
Day
one.
one.
So tonight, man, we just gonna be here for, little just like a half an hour. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna give our followers a chance to get to know Daniel. Um, my goal with Tour Talk is to get all of the members of the APGA Tour a chance to give our followers and our possible fans a chance to get to know us individually, so that maybe they will be inclined to support us if we come to a city near them, or if we play in tournaments on TV like you guys just did. Just kind of allowing them to get to know us instead of just thinking we just another golfer, but knowing the genuine side of us, man. So thank you for being here tonight. Let's hop right into it, man. First, tell everybody where you from. Where you can, if you can introduce yourself. Tell them where you from and how long you've been playing the game of golf.
All right, so full name is Daniel Theophilus Augustus the Fourth. I am from Pembroke, Bermuda, as Bermudians like to call it, Bacatan. And I was introduced to the game of golf when I was 3 years old. My next door neighbor took me after my father had passed away, and he was just helping my mother out. And my mother actually tells a story about how I was playing the game before I even knew what it was. I'll take a stick and a paper ball and I'll smack it around the house, and she'd be like, "What is my son doing?" I have no clue what's going on. And then when I got to a golf course, it clicked that like he was playing golf, because I was in love with it as soon as I picked up a golf club.
Wow, wow, man. Uh, and what age was that?
Again, so I started when I was three, playing golf officially, I guess you could say. But when I picked up a stick and was hitting a ball around the house, I was like maybe one, two, like just
Mm,
walking around.
word, word, word. That
Yeah.
is that's that's awesome. Now, when you were doing that, I wonder if any dreams of playing professional golf was there.
At that age, I didn't know any better. I just loved to. I was active as a kid, sports wise in general. I played every sport you could think about. I would say the dream of becoming a PGA Tour player didn't happen until my mid-teens. I would say 15, 16 was when it hit that, hey, I can actually do this. Um, but before that, it was just purely just for the love of the game and being able to play golf and just know that I'm in control of this golf ball somewhat, not fully.
Right, right,
you know,
right.
but
Yeah.
it was a great way for me to, just get around and enjoy myself and keep me out of trouble.
Okay. All right. Well, a lot of us do it for, similar reasons. But it's always good to hear, my fellow brothers, my fellow competitors, exactly what it means to you and what makes you do it. Kind of give us a background, man. Like, tell us your story, because you've told me before, and I mean, I feel like personally, you have an absolutely amazing story. So you don't have to go into all of it, but just kind of give us a short story version of Daniel Augustus. Your whole whatever you feel like sharing about, being in the Bermuda and then being here, your challenges with professional golf. Just kind of fill us in on Daniel's story.
All right. So again, my father passed away when I was three. I was born to Beverly and Oreen Holdup at the time. My father was Daniel T. Augustus the third. Um, he was murdered when I was three. When he had passed away, my mother remarried when I was around 6 or 7. And, relationship with my stepfather wasn't the greatest. But I still found ways to be myself in the sense of, I love golf. I was still a very, I would say, bright young man in the sense of I was always optimistic, always happy. I still found ways, even though things weren't the best with my stepfather, I still found ways to be positive. I still found ways to enjoy the life that I had. And growing up in Bermuda, Bermuda's a very small island. Uh, everybody knows everybody in the sense of like you can walk down the street and you would just speak to whoever you walk across, and then you would later find out that that person went to school with your parents or something of that sort.
Yeah.
But growing up in a country like that, um, again, everyone was friendly. I learned how to play golf at the Ocean View golf course. It's I would say the only muni on the island. There's two public golf courses, but Ocean View has that like real muni vibe and feel to it. It's only 9 holes. It's I think 2,800 yards for 9 holes. You know, it's nothing. At the same
Right.
time, it was a whole lot. You know what I mean? Like it's where I learned how to manage my golf ball with the swing that I had. I didn't have my first swing lesson until I was 15. Shout out to Canal Bean, my first swing coach. If it weren't for Beanie, I would still be a lot wilder off the tee than I am now. He helped to settle my swing down a good amount. Um, I just love to play golf, man. I used to sneak onto the golf course late afternoons because I couldn't afford to pay to play. So like I would wait. It's an old gentleman at the course. His name was Roger Harvey, and he was a member there. And he would go out every afternoon, say about an hour before sundown. And if I wasn't trying to work there and pick up range balls, then I would sneak out with him. I'll wait for him to get on the first hill. Then I'll cut through like a little track through the trees and meet him on the first hill, halfway down the first hill. And we'll play golf with him. And by the time we would get to the seventh hole, sixth, seventh hole, it would be dark. So I learned how to play by feel and not by sight. So
Wow.
I learned how to like hit a shot into the wind. If it was like 130, I learned how to like chip an 8 iron at a very young age from that distance, which is why you see me hit those stingers. Like I grew up hitting these shots because I had no choice, but also I had to feel out the shot. I couldn't tell you it was 127 yards to this flag or 185 yards to
Mm.
this flag. It was literally just, all right, I remember where this green is. It's a little bit into the wind. I remember I hit like this club yesterday or the day before, and it's like I just had to feel out every shot,
Wow.
pitch shots, everything. Even with putting, like you kind of saw the flag, but you had to kind of feel the ground beneath your feet when you was walking on it to feel which way the ball was gonna break. Like just like little things like that I had
Yeah.
to. That's how I really learned how to play the game, and it taught me so much. Like you would have to listen to see where your ball landed. You can tell the difference in sound from a bunker, green, fringe, rough. Like it all had different sounds to it when it landed. So it's just like little things like that. You learn the sound of golf before you learned how to actually like see things. So it taught me how to play in a different way that isn't taught.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome, man. That explains a lot. Why you're as good as you are, and why you can hit a lot of the shots that you can hit because the way you learn the game is unique. Um, so, what about like your journey to getting to the U.S.? Like, what started you coming from the Bermuda over to the U.S. to play?
So when I was like again 15, 16, when I realized that I wanted to play on tour, I then was like, all right, I want to get to the U.S. and play high school golf and get over here and play college golf and do it the way that Tiger did it. I remember watching Tiger on TV, as well as Tim O'Neill and Kevin O actually.
Wow.
Those three, I remember watching those three on TV a lot, especially when Kevin Hall first came around and seeing him be a first team All American at Ohio State, I was like, man, Tiger did it, Kevin Hall did it, Tim O'Neill did it. Let me, stick my foot in and try and get in the door and try and play overseas because I can't do it from Bermuda. So I
Right.
went to the International Junior Golf Academy. I was on scholarship there as an international player my senior year of high school.
Okay.
And then I went to Penn College in Augusta, Georgia after that.
Mhm.
In between these time periods, they weren't back to back. I actually had to go back and work a couple of times to finance myself because I didn't have the back end to get out here. So it was like go back home, work, come back out to school, go
Wow.
back home. And honestly, I was very proud of myself because like it wasn't given to me to get out here. You know what I mean? I had to bust my butt to get out here. Even now, playing full time, before I started playing full time, I was working in Bermuda for a few months, and then I'll come out here, play a few events, go back home and work. And at the time, I was working, multiple jobs. Uh,
You went out for a second. Talk now.
Hello,
Yeah,
can
you
you hear me?
back. I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was anything from construction to landscaping to giving lessons to working at a golf course. I was chauffeuring during the America's Cup, which is when I actually picked up a sponsor that way. He saw me driving a BMW for the rich and famous, and he was like, Daniel, what are you doing? Like, you don't work at Tacos Point anymore. I was like, well, I got to make some money to go and play some events this summer. So I was working, I think I was working from 8 a.m. to midnight every day for a month just to save up. I saved up about 15 grand to go and play for about, I think it was like 2.5 months straight. But I had to, felt like I had to do it. And I've never allowed anything to get in the way of that. So just had to grind and find ways to make it happen and make the dream a reality. Because the dream is still to play on the PGA Tour and to compete and to win. But the reality is, I got to go and get it myself. I don't expect anyone to help me. Of course, the help would be amazing. I'm not
Man,
going to sit there and say I don't want any, but if I have to go and dig it out myself, I will.
that's what's up, man. That's what's up. So traveling back and forth, working a job, working two jobs, working three jobs. When in the world did you have time to practice? Like, I mean, you working from 8 a.m. to 12 midnight. Like, how in the world, when did you find time to practice and continue to keep your game competitive?
So in that time period, I didn't hit a golf ball for close to a month. Um, Only because I was working every day for that long period of time. Like literally, I had enough time to go home, eat, sleep, and then get back up and do the same thing the next day. But whenever I was working other jobs, what I would do is like if I was working 6 a.m. to 2, I would practice from 2 until sundown. Or if I was working multiple jobs at the time, what I would do is like I would work. This time I would try my best to have a job where I was working early, and then I could leave early, and then maybe work in the evening. So what I would do is like I would work from say 6 a.m. to 12, then I would practice from 12 until 6, then 6 to 10. I'll have like a little side hustle somewhere doing something, and I'll make money that way. I always found a way to fit golf in. It was very tiring, obviously. It was plenty of days where I would be like, man, I don't feel like practicing, but I would just go because I had to. And when you want something bad enough, you don't, you know what I mean? You're not thinking about how tired I am. It's like, what can I do to make this happen? What do I have to do to make this happen?
Say
And you
that
just have,
again, brother. Say that one more time. Say that
what
one
do I
more time.
have to do to make this happen?
Yes.
And that's exactly what I did a lot of the time. And that's why my work ethic is still there. I want it bad, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna do everything that I can to get it. And I never lost sight of that. And I think a lot of the determination and persistence has a lot to do with my childhood and my upbringing. My mother, she did everything she could to make sure that her household looked like it was safe and doing well. Even though what happened with me and my stepfather was going on, he did hide it and was very manipulative. You know what I mean? So like he found ways to make it look like he wasn't doing what he was doing, but um, even then, my mother was still trying to make sure that everything was running safe. She was doing everything she could. So she taught me how to fight. She taught me how to grind. She taught me no matter what, you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. You know what I mean?
Mm.
She
Yes,
used to
Lord.
put the scriptures on me. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And my
Yes,
mother is
sir.
a firm believer, and a lot of things resonate to this day, as well as the music that I listen to. So it's like one verse that always sticks in my head that Jay-Z said, it's like, block my body, but can't trap my mind. Easily
Mm.
explains why some adapt to crime. I'd rather die enormous than live dormant. That's how I'm on it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's almost like, I want to say, like my mantra for my life.
Okay.
You can block my body, but you can't trap my mind. I know and see what I'm capable of, and I'm going to do everything I can to get where I need to go.
Word. Word. Man, that right there is a true testament to, you know, exactly what we are prepared to do to get to where we're trying to get to. I mean, you basically saying whatever it takes.
Yeah.
No excuses over here.
Nope.
So anybody tuning into this, man, let this be a testimony to you. Don't let nobody deprive you of what you feel like is rightfully yours. just put the work in by any means necessary. Go make it happen. Ah, man. Well, we gonna fast forward to 2022 was uh I would say would you consider that one of your best years as a professional golfer?
I would say it's one of my most consistent.
Okay. Okay.
It didn't have as many wins as I would have liked, but I am a bit of a perfectionist, so it was a great year for me. I finished sixth in the points in the APGA tour. I was just top five in everywhere I went. It seemed like
Yes, you
even
was.
in
Every cat tournament.
even in mini tour events, everything I did, it was just like top five, top five, top five. I was just like, okay, I have to look at it and be like, man, that shows how great of a golfer you've become to the point whereas I feel like I wasn't even necessarily playing at my peak and I was just somehow pulling out top fives wherever I went. Um, so I would say it was a very successful year, very consistent year. Um,
Okay.
but again, the competitor in me is always going to be like, man, come on, get some W's in there.
Right. Right. No
Yes,
doubt. And it should be trying to get to the highest level, it being acceptable of, what you feel like is mediocrity. You're not gonna say, hey, I had a great year when you didn't feel like you did everything you wanted to do or won as much as you could win. So
yeah.
I'm with you there. Now, how many wins do you have professionally?
Overall, it's over 25. I have to think about the number if we're including Bermudian events as well.
Over
Um,
25?
Over 25, yeah.
That's very, very impressive. And how many years have you been a professional?
I turned pro in 2010.
Okay,
Yeah,
so 13. This will be 13 years.
13th year, yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. Wow. Time flies. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Okay. So after a very consistent year, this year earned you a spot into the Farmers Insurance Invitational, where you had an opportunity to display your talent on a PGA Tour golf course in PGA Tour conditions.
Mhm.
Now, I want you to tell us exactly, for one, how you were preparing. Um, what did you change up about your preparation? Anything specific you did? And just kind of take us through your entire experience while you were there at tour.
So Torrey was an absolute beast. That golf course is a great golf course. It's not goofy in any way. It's right in front of you, but you have to golf your ball around there. You have to drive it straight. You have to putt well. And my preparation for the week, I was trying my best to hit as many drivers as straight as I could. Going into it, knowing that it's 7,600 yards, I knew that my drive was going to be important. And because I had heard from, I think I watched it on Joe Hooks' story actually,
Yep.
when he was playing, that the rough was as high as it was. Him and Aaron Grimes, shout out to Joe Hooks and Aaron Grimes, by the way. But as soon as they had posted how high the rough was, I immediately was like, all right, get to work on your driver, man. You gotta drive the ball straight. You gotta keep it in the fairway. And I didn't do that, but um, I felt like I did everything I could to play as good as I could at that event. I didn't play well, and again, the competitor in me is always going to be like, well, let's work on it so that we can be better the next time, if there is a next time. So let's try and prepare to do better at the next chance that you have available. So I did everything I could. Like I said, the course was a monster, and all I can do is look back and see how I can improve now. How do I take a step further now? How do I improve myself? Because that was a PGA Tour golf course. This is the type of courses that these guys play week in, week out. So if I want to get to this level, where do I need to step my game up? And I need to iron up on every last part of my golf game after seeing that it almost reignited a fire in me to work even harder. And I was thinking about it like, can I even do that? Yes, I can, and I will. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find more time to improve myself. Again, it was just such a great experience, and I'm so grateful to the APGA to have been able to get us in that sort of a predicament. You know, we all feel that we can play on the PGA Tour, but until you're inside down ropes and see what it's really like, then you can only get a real idea and concept of how good you have to be. So for me, it was a great learning experience, and I will take that with me.
Wow. Well said, man. Well said. The APGA Tour is doing some absolutely amazing things. Just remembering, almost 14 years ago now, when this tour began and where they are now, it's just like you go from 3 tournaments on, not very good golf courses to, 18 plus tournaments a year on tour caliber golf courses, playing for, last year they gave out prize money and sponsorships over $1 million. So to say that for a developmental tour, it's just, they're doing amazing things. They're changing lives of young men that look like us. They're giving us opportunities to excel in a game that we really never had a chance at from day one. So they're giving us a lot of hope. So hats off to APGA. We appreciate everything that you guys are doing for us. Just make sure we don't let that go unsaid. We really appreciate everything y'all done. And we are getting geared up for the 2023 season, which promises to disappoint none. It promises to be just as amazing, if not better, than the rest of the years that we've had in the past. We have an event in less than 2 weeks.
Yep, Palm Springs.
Palm Springs, and that'll kick off the 2023 APGA Tour season. Before we give our guests a chance to ask a couple questions, I got 2 questions for you myself.
Okay.
What are your expectations for 2023?
Ooh, good question. So for me, the only thing I expect to do is work harder and play harder. The results will come. I'm focusing on myself, if I'm being honest. If I focus on other things, then you really might not get the best out of yourself. As long as I focus on me, then I know that I will perform and do well. So I need to focus on, like I said, improving my putting, chipping, ball striking, off the tee. That's all I'm really focusing on. The results will come. My expectations are to fall further in love with the process that I'm in, so that the results can come, and not worrying about the results, but focusing on the process and really just digging my feet into the process of it all and allowing everything to fall into place around me.
Okay. All right. Now, one more question before I let the viewers ask a few. If you had one dream foursome, so I need your dream foursome and your course that you would choose to play.
Dream foursome. Lee Alder, it's a gentleman back home that if it wasn't for him, basically a lot of black golfers wouldn't have the opportunity to. His name was Herman Santucci Bascom. So Lee Alder, Santucci Bascom. The last person I would want to have with me in that foursome, Tiger. I would say that would be my foursome. You know, the guy, the GOAT, the one of the previous GOATs of black golf, and the black GOAT of golf in Bermuda, Mr. Santucci Bascom. I would say that would be my foursome, dream foursome.
All right. Well, that's a great foursome. Now you got to tell me what course.
Augusta National.
Okay.
Yeah.
A very, very, very similar answer. Augusta National and Tiger being one of your foursomes. So, well said. So let's go ahead and give our viewers a chance to ask a few questions here. I got one up on the screen here from Field of Dreams, ACA. What is your daily routine during the off season?
So my favorite, have an off season, play golf every week. I would say wake up around 6, go straight to the gym, come back, have breakfast. Then I'm at the course from the time I get there until dark. That's usually around Christmas time, so it's not as much daylight. So I would say again that's usually my daily routine. It's gym first thing in the morning for about an hour to an hour and a half. Then I head to the course and I do more technical work in the off season. So I do things like work on my posture, grip, alignment. Because while you're playing, you just want to be firing, right? You just want to do fine little tweaks. Also work on things like making sure for me, my one of my biggest issues has always been I get the club, very across the line, and I have to make sure that when I'm in the off season, I'm working on making sure the club doesn't get too far to the to my hair, like too close to my hair. So I just try to make sure that I feel like I'm laying it off a little bit, and I try to make sure that my short game's always tidy during the off season. That's when I really put in a lot of short game work. I start experimenting with shots as well in the off season. So
Okay.
you might see me in the range trying to hit like little low cuts and hooks, and then I'll bring the ball flight up slowly but surely. Then I will start doing the same shot shapes but at a high trajectory. So I experiment a little bit more in the winter as well during the off season, and I might do something like get my clubs tweaked as well during the off season.
Okay. Uh, J Bo said the favorite club in the bag. What's your favorite club in your bag?
Man. 7-9. Yeah,
7-9. Okay.
7-9.
Dr. T 123. He wrote a story when he was in elementary school that he would be playing in the PGA and that he would meet Tiger Woods. He's on the right path. Well done, son. Do you
Oh,
know who that is?
that would be my mother.
Ah, okay. Hey, mother. How you
I
doing?
I don't remember that, but
Oh, you
clearly she
don't remember?
does. I don't
Hey,
remember that.
moms don't forget, bro. So that would explain why she been on here cheering. I've been seeing her comments going the whole time we've been on. So that's mom. How are you?
Yeah,
How are you? Thank you for allowing us to borrow Daniel for a little while.
she is a proud mother. I couldn't ask for a more proud mother and a bigger fan than her.
As she should be. All right. Jay-Z Golf Incorporated. If you weren't a professional golfer, what career do you think you would pursue in order to have time and money for leisure golf?
Well, I used to preach when I was younger. Um, I could have been pastor. I could have been man. I could have been a rapper. I used to rap as well. So I could have been a rapper. That leaves me plenty of time to play golf leisurely and enjoy myself. I also one of my dreams was actually as a child was to be a pilot to fly planes.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so again, I could have had that job. That's a great salary. That's a six-figure salary. That'll leave me plenty of time to get plenty of rounds of golf in around different locations as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
um, I was actually out of all of them, I'll say pilot. Yeah,
Okay.
pilot would have been it.
All right. Bet. Bets chart. Tamara. What advice would you give the junior golfers back home?
To every junior golfer back home, if you really want to do this, don't think that you can't from Bermuda would be the first thing that I would tell them. Allow Bermuda to shape you into whoever it is that you are, and then expand from there. Bermuda taught me how to hit the ball solid because of how windy it always was at home. Uh, how undulating the golf courses are in Bermuda taught me how to play off of different lies. You know what I mean? It's just embrace what you have in Bermuda, conquer Bermuda first, and then once you conquer Bermuda, you go with some extra confidence because you know that you can say that you're one of the best golfers in a country, you know? And then
Yeah.
from there, spread your wings and you have more opportunities to play golf in, say, college, high school, or even professionally once you stand out in Bermuda. So I would say work hard, dedicate yourself to your craft if that's what you truly want to do. Short game, short game, short game, as you know, and allow Bermuda to shape you into who you are. Allow the courses back home to make you into a better golfer because they can if you take advantage of it.
All right. Well said. Great answer. We got time for two more questions. What is this from your boy AP2? what is your most memorable win? That Florida Elite Tour at OCN was my favorite.
Man, that was a good victory. I shot 6 under on the back to win by one at Panther Lake. Most memorable for me, 2020 Johnny Walker Classic. I was trailing by 4 going into the back nine, ended up winning by 4.
Wow.
I went par, birdie, birdie, par, birdie, par, birdie, and I dropped like a 30-footer on the last hole to close it out.
Wow.
That was one of the most memorable. I'm been blessed to have won so many tournaments. Montreal, I have so many great memories of winning events. There was a junior tournament back home. The person that I beat may not want to hear this, but he'll be okay. But he was deemed the best golfer on the island, amateur junior golfer. And actually, I got into a motorcycle accident after the first round of the tournament. Yeah. And I think he had me by one shot. We had 2 rounds left, and I actually bruised my ribs in that tournament. And I played with bruised ribs and ended up beating him by 3 in that event.
Wow.
I think I shot like even 1 over for the last 2 rounds. He went like 2 over, 3 over, or something crazy like that. I'm not going to say his name out of respect, but that's when I realized that I can overcome anything to play and finish. I had road rash on my arms, on my legs, and I still was able to walk, carry my bag, and finish this event and beating who was the person at the time who was considered the best golfer in Bermuda. I tend to play with a chip on my shoulder, so that was a big win to me.
Wow. That I can see why you would say that he probably don't want to hear that.
No.
To beat somebody by 3 with bruised ribs, that's kind of Tiger-esque on the one leg in 2008 against
at Torrey Pines.
at Torrey Pines.
Yeah.
That part. All right, last question. One destiny. What would you say is the hardest part balancing life as a professional golfer?
The hardest part is self-discipline, I would say. Realizing that what you want right now is not more important than what you want as far as your goals go. And what I mean by that is, it's like instant gratification cannot take precedence over discipline. You have to stay disciplined, regimented, and embedded in your goals. Everything else will fall into place as long as you stick to your path and your goals and the street that you're destined to be on. It could get lonely at times, but that's what you need to do. And it feels like at times that you're self-sacrificing, but you're really not. You're really just pushing to become better, and you will love yourself a whole lot more because the pain of regret outweighs the pain of discipline, I would say. So staying disciplined is the key to any sort of success in life. And the way you balance it is you got to stay disciplined and you build around it. You give yourself time to enjoy yourself, to have some fun, but you still have to stay to your regimen. You stick to what you have to do. You stay disciplined in that. But still, like I watch every Manchester United game, but I just don't watch it while I'm playing or practicing. I record it and I watch it later. I love movies. I love to eat junk food. I give myself a little treat at the end of the week. I don't always eat junk food. You know what I mean? So it's just like you just have to learn how to be kind to yourself, but also be disciplined at the same time. That's how you stay on the path and still be happy. And then once you see your dreams realized, and then you realize that those really weren't sacrifices. Those were just planting seeds.
Wow. What's a better way to conclude this than an answer of that caliber? Phenomenal answer, brother. Discipline is definitely the key for all of us as professional golfers and in life. When you want something, the discipline is what allows you to be able to make time for everything and balance everything. to stay disciplined, because if you stay to your regimen, like you say, then eventually you actually have more time than you think you have
Yeah.
because you're disciplined. But when you're not disciplined and you're trying to fit things in, and now you don't have any time for anything because you're all over the place.
Yep.
But what a fantastic time I had with you tonight, man. Definitely got to know a little bit more about my brother, man. Thank you for sharing that with me. Thank you for sharing that with our viewers. Thank you for your time. Before you go, is there anybody that you want to thank before we let you go?
First, obviously, gotta thank my mother because she was online watching. No, mother, I love you. Thank you for everything. I want to thank the Maven Sports Group for putting me on the team. I want to thank, obviously, the APGA for giving us the space to be able to share our lives with the world and to also monitor our golf games, and give us a place to make a name for ourselves and for us to improve our golf games. APGA Tour, I can't thank you enough. Everybody on the board, Mr. Bentley, thank you, sir. Montreal, thank you for picking me to do tour talk today. It's been an honor and a blessing. I want to thank everybody back home. Friends and loved ones, you know who you are. I singled you all out. I'll be here all night trying to explain. So thank you, everybody that I love and that loves me. I appreciate every last one of you. And again, thank you, APGA, for your help.
Well, thank you, Daniel. Man, you already know what it is over here, man. I love you, brother. I can't
Love you
wait to
too,
see
bro.
you in a couple weeks, man, in Palm Springs, because I know you've been getting after it. So I get to watch some of that beautiful golf. Um, and I'm just looking forward to it, man. Keep grinding and stay blessed and stay healthy until we see each other in a couple weeks.
Be easy, broski.
All right, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. And APGA Tour Talk. We out. Take care.